I want to address another controversial subject, namely the tarot and tarot cards, which many Bible-thumping Christians, myself included in the past, thought of as demon orchestrated and a tool of the devil. The good things about the tarot were in place in order to get people to accept the curses that the tarot would express, predict, such as deaths of whomever. But all that being said, on Amazon, I found this book called Biblical Tarot. I see tarot as a card game. Christians that I talked to say, don't even play with that stuff. You'll get yourself in trouble if you even play with it as a card game. 4 suits of the minor arcana of tarots correlate to clubs, diamonds, hearts, and spades in the 52 card games. And tarot cards are typically 56 cards instead of 52, and the difference is the jack is split into page and knight. So are followed by, queen and king. Aces at the front. And so in most tarot cards, the minor arcana are 14 cards in each suit. So we've got the wands or the staves, which correlate to clubs, and then the pentacles, which are coins, which correlate to diamonds. And then we have the suit of cups, which correlates to the suit of hearts, and then the suit of swords, which correlates to spades. The bulk of the swords cards are mainly warnings and fight issues. This biblical tarot lists the suits as candles, chalices, candles being wands or staves, chalices being, I would assume, cups, really, but it's the second one. So I think chalices is associated then with diamonds or coins or pentacles. And then the third one is feathers, which I guess would be associated with hearts or cups. And then the fourth one is grains, which would be associated with spades or swords. But then as I read this, it's more to do with earth, air, fire, and water. And so candles is fire, chalices is water, feathers is air, and grains is of the earth. I think out of sequence compared to what we know of other tarot cards. So here's the vision behind the biblical tarot, introduction to the biblical tarot. In the tapestry of human spirituality and reflection, few threads are as richly colored and intricately woven as those of the tarot and the Christian Bible. Both are ancient, steeped in history, mystery, and a profound depth of symbolic meaning. The tarot, with its enigmatic archetypes and esoteric wisdom, has guided seekers on their personal journeys of enlightenment and self-discovery for centuries. The Bible, a foundational text of spiritual guidance, moral teachings, and allegorical narratives, has shaped the faith, ethics, and lives of billions. The fusion of these two realms into the biblical tarot offers a unique path to insight, blending the introspective depth of the tarot with the spiritual and moral richness of the Bible. And of course, that gives rise to the thinking that religion is basically developed for the control of man. I would offer certainly that, keeping man from killing themselves, killing each other is a good thing, and following the ways of peace and nonviolent protest like Martin Luther King Jr. profligated is also a good thing. So, the vision behind the biblical tarot. The biblical tarot is more than a deck of cards. It is a bridge between worlds, a dialogue between the soul and the sacred. Its creation was inspired by the desire to make the wisdom of the tarot accessible to those who find their spiritual home within a Christian tradition, as well as to invite lovers of the tarot into a new realm of biblical contemplation and reflection. Oh, that's something to think about. It works both ways. Not only does it have Bible readers participate in tarot reading, it also has tarot aficionados participate in Bible reading. This deck is a tool for guidance, education, and spiritual exploration, designed to resonate with the familiar stories and figures of the Bible while unlocking the archetypal mysteries of the tarot. Each card in the biblical tarot is a carefully crafted amalgam of traditional tarot symbolism and biblical narratives. The major arcana representing the major themes and lessons of life are paired with pivotal biblical stories and characters that embody these archetypes. For instance, the fool is represented by the soul embarking on the ultimate journey of knowledge and self-discovery. The lovers is depicted by Adam and Eve, symbolizing choice, morality, and the complexity of human relationships. The minor arcana, which are the suits, reflecting the challenges and experiences of everyday life, are infused with the daily lives, struggles, and triumphs of biblical characters. These cards are drawing from the deep wells of love, betrayal, and forgiveness found in the stories of Samson and Delilah, or Ruth and Naomi. Purpose and use. The biblical tarot is designed for reflection, prayer, and guidance. It invites users to explore their life's journey through the lens of biblical wisdom, offering insights that are at once deeply personal and universally spiritual. Whether used for personal meditation, group study, or spiritual counseling, the biblical tarot is a tool for exploring the intersections of life's questions and the timeless meanings of the Bible. And I will say too, I attended a Bible college for a year and took 66 units of classes like Old Testament history, and then the books of the Bible was a class. You know, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John were independent classes. Acts was a class. Romans was a class. Ephesians was a class. Philippians was a class. Revelations was a class, etc. So 66 units. And as part of that school, we had what were known as retemery cards, which is retention of memory, truncated into one word, creating its own slang, eh? So rather than tarot cards, we had retemery cards, which were verses, single verses, and sometimes 2 or 3 verses on one card, little card that, you know, we could buy as a deck and shuffle and look at a card randomly, a Bible verse, each morning or throughout the day or whenever we felt the need. So similar kind of concept. So my next question is, do these cards have Bible verses on them? Let's have a look. 8 of Chalices. And let's see what we have. Man, I need a magnifying glass. And there is a verse. Acts 1, verse 9, NIV. After he said this, he was taken up before their very eyes, and a cloud hid him from their sight. So that's Acts 1, verse 9. So they do, in fact, have verses on them. So, yeah, man. I mean, you know, you're reading the Bible when you're reading these cards. So what's wrong with that? Let's see, the 9 of Chalices, the Feast of Purim, Jewish. And this quotes the Old Testament, Esther 9, verse 22. As the time when the Jews got relief from their enemies, and as the month when their sorrow was turned into joy, and their mourning into a day of celebration. So just one verse. Chalices. Can I show that to you a little more better? Is that going to focus on that? No, it's not. But there's the verse. Esther chapter 9, verse 22. Check it out yourself. That's enough for now. Talk to you soon.